Now we're here in Amman, Jordan, and
why are we here?
Yeah, why are we here? Like why? So you could be anywhere in the world, whether it's leading Microsoft or Yahoo or Google, etc. You've chosen to come back to Amman, Jordan, and yes. I'd love to hear why you're here and tell everyone your vision.
That one is something I'm extremely passionate about. So while I was at Yahoo, I started sort of coming back here to visit family and sort of in Jordan, and I started investing in small companies. I also was a judge on a business plan competition that was happening out of here, being the Yahoo guy coming in from the US to sort of be a judge. And what I saw were plans that were incredibly good. I mean, some of these pitches, it felt like I was sitting in Silicon Valley. And I would come back the next year for the next competition, and I would see the guys from the previous year who won, and I would ask them what happened. And what happened was nothing, right? They may have started the company, they may have borrowed some money to start it, and then it would die.
Right.
And the reason for that is this region, the Middle East and North Africa, there is no seed and early stage funding infrastructure.
I heard there was, in all of the Middle East, there was, last year was $7 million in angel investing.
And that's angel.
And
that's not even early stage.
Early stage seed. So, which is, I mean, that happens in one day in Silicon Valley.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, in an hour, probably.
In an hour.
To me, and at the same time, we have His Majesty King Abdullah here, who's a pretty visionary leader. He had asked us as a group of people, including me as somebody newly arrived in the region, to say, how can we do more of deals like what happened with Maktoob? Yahoo had acquired Maktoob for $165 million.
This 2 years ago? Or?
This was less than 2 years ago, a year and a half ago or so. How can we show people that there's more value in these new technology ventures?
Sure.
So we came up with a plan as a group. He used to call us his kitchen cabinet. Right. So we used to meet unofficially with him and sort of go over plans. We came up with a plan that basically said, look, we have this desert, this literally and figuratively, which is when an entrepreneur invests their first borrowed money, they enter the desert where there's no funding.
Right.
So there's no seed stage and there's very, very little angel.
Right.
But if they can make it to the end of that desert, if they can make it to the land where VCs and private equity functions, they're golden, because there's a lot of money and a lot of demand for that money to get invested in this region.
Right.
So we said, look, the thing to do is to create a fund that invests particularly in very early stage. So we start at a 10K level, sort of a Y Combinator model.
Yep.
10K level, but we do a follow-on at 50K, and then to form and foster an angel network, we will also co-invest in certain angel network deals, and we will organize the angel network. So we will organize events. We want to get the investors used to looking at deals like this instead of looking at investing in a gas station or a building or something.
Which is easier to do right now.
Very easy to do. But in the very beginning, a lot of these entrepreneurs also don't have the basic skills. They don't know what a business model is. They don't know what a business plan is. They don't know how to talk to investors. They don't understand the equity structure.
Right.
What does it mean to take investments? How do you deal with your board? What's the role of marketing, sales, all that? So we have essentially a starting program that starts with a training program. We use the training program to essentially filter out the top guys, let's say the top 10% who will get the 10K each on average. And through that, a couple of them will get the 50K follow-on and so forth. And we turn it into a factory, right? So it's sort of like the Techstars with a training program, a Y Combinator, but we keep it going, and we want to do it at a scale. And this is the other thing that I told His Majesty is we want to do something that will shock the system.
Absolutely.
Right? And shocking the system.
It's a revolution.
Right. In a country like this is the other part of this Oasis 500 name, which is the 500. We believe we can actually touch 500 new startups in the next 5 years in this region, which for this region is huge. I mean, if you do something like this, either the patient wakes up and runs around, or it needs a much more radical surgery. But I think it's to me, investing in startups is essentially a zero waste activity. Because and out of the 500, by the way, I expect 90% of them to fail. Right. But even the failures are contributing to the creation of capacity, to the creation of that ecosystem where that entrepreneur will learn a lesson and come back 10 times better or 100 times better.
Yeah, even those failures are seeds for many, many other companies that come out of them.
And we are very thankful, by the way, for the delegation that came, the entrepreneurship delegation that came to Jordan. I'm part of it as well. Yeah. For sort of looking at this, for helping us, and we are very interested in having folks from the U.S. also invest in Oasis 500. We think it's the most positive area of investment out there.
Absolutely. We met with King Abdullah 2 days ago, and I came away so impressed. And obviously, he was one of the visionaries behind you, and the fact that he helped. With Oasis 500 is incredible, and it says so much about Jordan and his leadership.
Indeed.
So I'm very moved by what I've seen here. We've seen women entrepreneurs who have created companies from tiny little villages that we've gone to, and we've seen companies like Jiran, who I've been following since 2005. They were 400,000 uniques, and I've been mentoring them and friends with them, and now they're almost 8 million uniques. And then there's Diwanji, which you're involved in, which is 4.5 million uniques. So I want to tell everyone, I mean, in the Silicon Valley and TechCrunch audience, that there's something happening here, and it's going to happen with or without us and our involvement. But I've seen, friends like Craig Newmark and Mike Cassidy and all of these guys are interested in coming and mentoring and helping, and obviously I'm here. And looking forward to. And
by the way, this is the other amazing side of Silicon Valley. The story that doesn't get told is how many people want to give back.
Yeah.
The amount of energy in people volunteering mentorship, volunteering their time, wanting to invest, wanting to get involved in this region because they see what's happening. And I always say entrepreneurship is the universal language.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter what language you speak. If you're an entrepreneur, two entrepreneurs will get along in 5 minutes. They may hate each other, but they'll understand each other.
Absolutely. And the thing that we've said is, Silicon Valley is a state of mind. Yeah. It's not a physical place, and it's spreading like a virus everywhere.
Absolutely.
And being here in Amman, Jordan, over the past couple of days with you has been such an inspiration, and so much is at stake. I mean, if you think about, the future of our world, I think is based on, that we have peace. Here in the Middle East, and that peace is going to come for economic opportunity, and so you're doing amazing work here, and I'm sure everyone who's listening now is going to be very interested in following up, and I'm sure we're going to do another follow-up interview in a year, and we're going to see the companies, and actually today we're going to go visit a couple of the companies you're actually involved in.
Yes.
In the early stages, and they're beautiful ideas, and we look forward to seeing them grow under your guidance and mentorship.
All right.
Thank you so much, Usama.
Oh, thank you.
This is wonderful.
All right, great. Thanks a lot.